Hello all and welcome into WHF Tier 1. We're here in round 10 in Brazil. You're joined by me, WHF Faro, and Daikon for this evening's action. Say hi, Daikon. And we're here in this lovely Sunday evening for Tier 1 as Rio Harris is going to be the first driver to get us underway on a lap down into turn when he goes. And right before the stream started, me and Daikon were talking about what standings Cookie needs in order to win the championship. Even if Cookie scores maximum points today, he will not be crowned champion, but he could be all but moments away from being crowned champion, especially with Hemi Dames, his closest rival in the championship, not being here today. BNZ, you're not in this race now, because you're a Tier 3 driver. But Rio currently on a lap, and I believe, from what Nis was telling me, is that a pole should be around, the driver should be in the sixes, so that'll be interesting to see. I'm not quite sure what my PS would be around here, but it definitely would not be in the sixes. But we'll see how Rio Harris can get on in his first lap. And it's important to have a strong banker as your opening lap, and what can the Mercedes driver do as he comes up to the line. And it's a 7.539 for Rio Harris as Ty Clear next across the line in the nines. But we'll stay on board with Cookie, who has been a 5-time champion here in WHF and SSR, as he touches the grass. Big mistake up Ferragura, and Cookie will have to go again. We'll follow Nis, who's just started a lap, although we'll see, is there anyone else on a lap who's close to finishing one? I believe Liam up to the line, he's just doing an extra out lap. Mallard coming close to a lap as TJ goes into P3, as Michael Loy also went into P2. Mallard into P4. Yeah, and into... yeah, just ahead of Mallard. But what I will say about Kevin is he took a little break from WHF, left midway through the season and then came back again. And even though Kevin has rejoined us, he's still P17 in the championship. He left after round 2 and he came back in round 7, was it? I think it was 7. And Kevin now back with us and still showing that he has strong pace this season. Meanwhile, Nis will be next around in P13 currently, as he's yet to set a lap. What kind of lap time can he set on the board? It'll be a 1.7091, and I did mention that pole lap time should be in the sixes, and Nis is almost there already. Yeah, I think another outlap. Meanwhile, Cookie is on a lap. He's apparently 400ths down on his best time, which I don't know if that's true. Well, he's 7 seconds up on his best time. So, where will that put Cookie as he rounds the final corner and foot to the floor as Hemi Dimes has joined? He's got out of bed. You love to see it. The championship may go on further and further as Cookie will cross the line. Does a 7.358, but Hemi, being in the lobby at the very least, if he scores some points, it essentially makes Cookie's job a little bit harder, because if Cookie were to score maximum points here today and Hemi were to not finish, then Cookie would be 1 point away from the title for the final 2 rounds. Meanwhile, Hemi, if he turns up and gets a decent result, that'll extend the championship maybe into the penultimate or the final round. And you'd like to see it to go to the final round, despite Cookie by far and away being the quickest driver this season. He has been kept honest by the likes of Nis this season, and Hemi in Australia showed some great pace in his home Grand Prix, but hasn't really been able to challenge him at any other point in the season. He has had some quick first stints in a couple of races. I remember Japan being a quick one for Hemi, but haven't really seen him really challenge Cookie for any wins this season out on track. It seems to be only Nis is the only driver who's been able to take it to Cookie all season. But Echo up to P4 as things stand, and a very close midfield there. And important to note, DZ Racer is a tier 3 driver, but for some reason just has a mega qualifying pace. Although, very much like myself in the races, just can't seem to get it right. Like myself, keeps spinning, so hopefully DZ Racer can qualify well here and also stay consistent throughout the race. It's been very difficult as... apologies, BNZ, for playing the sound alert. I realise I don't even have the sound alerts enabled to the right thing. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, up the hill at Ferragura. And a really tricky right-hander at turn 7. A lot of times if you're running the wrong setup, the car will go light in the rear, just completely gets loose on you. You can easily spin off. But Ollie keeping it smooth on this lap. And where can Ollie go? Ollie currently challenging the likes of Ty Clear in the championship, although Ty only in P11 as things stand. And Ollie now rounding the final corner. And if I were Ollie, I'd want to be ahead of DZ Racer. And if it can be in and around Akko and Michael, that'd be a great lap. Although Ollie has famously struggled in qualifying, and as I say that, he goes just ahead of Mallard. But he's only around a 10th off where it says he possibly could be. But Ollie has had this famous record of not being a great qualifier, but always in the race he has such great consistency and is always able to fight his way up. So even though Ollie may set P9 as it stands, as Mallard does improve to P6, you will see Ollie in the race later on making his way up the field, as he always has. That is why he won the championship in Season 3. But currently Ty is ahead of Ollie by 2 points, and they're further 12 points ahead of Mallard. But Mallard currently out qualifying both of them. Maybe Mallard can get some good points here today in Brazil and start to challenge in the championship for P6. Meanwhile, we're missing JG today in P5 in the standings, although he's in a bit of an island. The next closest driver to him is Nis, who is a good 18 points ahead of him. So I think JG is possibly comfortable in P5 until the end of the season. But meanwhile, we'll see a couple drivers on a lap here. We'll follow Cookie, current championship leader, and is looking for his 6th championship. Will not be able to seal it today, but he could be moments away in Texas if he can nail it, and may even win the championship in his home Grand Prix, as he is improving, but by how much as he exits the final corner. And may get a mini tow from the Aston Martin ahead as DZ Racer into the 7s, as Cookie's the first driver into the 6s. Rio Harris following another driver across the line, and Rio does improve by 300s there. But DZ Racer, the tier 3 driver, up in P4. Absolutely fantastic in qualifying is this man. You just are waiting for him to really show what he can do in the races, as Kevin Cal now rounding the final corner. And I must say, if you're looking consistency in races, Kevin Cal is always the man. No matter where he qualifies, he always sneaks his way up the order in the races. It's actually frustrating to watch sometimes how, even if he qualifies, no matter where he qualifies, he normally always ends up getting driver of the day, because he just is able to stay out of the drama and make his way up. As Akko, big improvement, half a second, gets him into P4, just 2/10 shy of Rio Harris. Meanwhile, Michael Invalid, Hemi Dimes, currently with an 8-3, and I know Hemi is going to want a much better time of that, but he's probably still got his slippers on as he's just out of bed. So can Hemi improve here in the Ferrari, as he's got an Alpine in front of him, which I don't know if that'll hurt his downforce or potentially give him a bit of a tow down the main straight here as he rounds the final corner. Can he hold it together? And now he may get the benefit from that tow out of the final corner. But is he improving? I don't think he's actually improving here on this lap. I think he might be Yeah, he's coming in as... who do we have on a lap? Ty not improving. Nis just started a lap. Rio, I believe, just started a lap as well. Yeah, and Rio even did a recharge lap, I believe, because he... it's his second push lap on these same tyres, so he must have recharged the battery to go again. But is he actually improving here? Not quite sure. He did make that mistake where he left the track there at turn 4. But as we round the exit of Sector 2, he is a 10th down, so I think Rio must be coming in. We'll keep an eye on Nis, who's over a 10th to the good, as we go on board with the Alpine. And as he exits Sector 2, what is his time saying? Still a 10th to the good. That may put him ahead of Cookie. Although he needs a bit more time out of the final corner, but squirrely on the rear was the Alpine. And losing the rear, DRS enabled as he charges to the line. And can he get ahead of Cookie as he crosses the line? Improves by 75 thousandths, but this is the issue in the Sev. The final corner, they're losing the rear a little bit on traction. That has ultimately cost him here, and he will have enough time to get in and out for another chance at pole position. However, Cookie has pole position now in hand as Ollie does improve by 1.5 to move up to P9. And the McLaren driver 2 tenths up his teammate. As Liam in the chat says, I hate this track, and I don't know what we can say, Liam. We can't really help you drive. I mean, maybe I can try help you drive if you want. If you have any questions, we'll let you know. But well, as Daikon says, I mean, here's the thing, Liam, if you want any advice, you shouldn't really be using the reverse gear while trying to do qualifying. That's really a really key bit of advice for you, Liam, if you do want to be quicker in qualifying. But anyway, we'll follow Codzilla, although Codzilla, I believe, is doing an extra outlap, burning off the extra bit of fuel. Brazil is one of the tracks where it does give you probably an extra lap of fuel, so we will see a couple drivers doing an extra outlap to burn off that extra lap of fuel before they do their final push. We might see Rio Harris doing that now as he follows Cod, because Rio has got his outlap started where he probably should have enough time to do that extra lap and burn it off. But I wonder is Cookie and the Seb going to do the same thing? Cookie exiting the box now. It might be a bit touch and go whether he does have that opportunity to burn the battery. I believe Rio has started burning the battery as Codzilla comes in, which is a bit strange, but hey-ho. I guess he just gave up with qualifying. He says, I don't want to play anymore, as Rio, down to turn 4, is improving by 200ths. And a bit more cautious on entry to turn 4 to make sure he doesn't leave the track. And I believe Rio possibly is pushing, but maybe has enough time to recharge and go again like he did on his last attempt. But we will wait and see. Rio needs a lot more tenths if he wants to get anywhere near the pole position. He's half a second off Cookie's time. And as he is about to exit Sector 2, we'll keep an eye on what his Delta is saying. Has he nailed the middle sector here? He is almost 2 tenths to the good. And I think he's going to need a monster run down the straight if he does want to get anywhere near pole. At the very least, Rio could hold on to P3 here by extending his time. But as Rio comes to the line, can he stick it on pole? Does improve by almost 2 tenths, but it isn't enough to get anywhere near pole. But Rio, at the moment, could be happy with that time. Meanwhile, we've also got Hemi Dimes out there. Currently P2 in the championship and P10 in qualifying. Does not want to be that far down the order. And we're going to have to keep an eye on the Ferrari, he's definitely going to want to improve here in this qualifying session. And meanwhile, I believe Cookie was invalid on his attempt at a lap there. DZ Racer out there, who I've mentioned been so quick in qualifying this season in all the tiers he's raced in. is a Tier 3 driver, but here in Tier 1, currently sitting P5, and can he improve any more for one of his best laps here as he rounds the final corner? He's 200ths to the good, and he may get a little bit of tow from the Red Bull ahead. And I'm not quite sure which Red Bull that was starting a lap, as they weren't really pushing out of the final. Yeah, wasn't really pushing out of the final corner, but I wonder, was Cookie helping DZ Racer improve a little bit? And he does improve by under half a tenth, as Cookie's made a big mistake through turn 1, touches the grass on the outside, and with the yellow flag out, I'm trying to work out, does Cookie have enough time to go again? He doesn't. So Nis has a great opportunity now to go again and potentially improve. Rio as well has an opportunity to improve here. Cookie, his best lap time will be that 6.922. Nis and Rio have an opportunity here to improve their times to potentially snatch pole, as well as Hemi Dimes as well. He is on a lap, has an opportunity as well to get pole here. Although he's currently in P11 behind his teammate, but we expect a lot more from him. Although he has said in the driver interviews last race that Brazil is one of his worst tracks. But even though it is a track where he struggles at, I wouldn't expect him to be down as far as P11. But as he rounds the final corner, Stephen takes the checkered flag and will be at best P10 as Ty moves up to P11. But we're following Hemi there, as I believe Mallard is coming up to the line, and Mallard, although that may have been Cookie who smashed across the line. Hemi goes to P5 as he sees Cookie across the line. Meanwhile, Nis is invalid, so will not improve. Rio's down by a tenth, so will not improve. Mallard across the line next, doesn't improve. Ollie is a tenth to the good, and that would put him ahead of Mallard as things stand. And Ollie does go to P9, just shy of his teammate Michael Louis. Nis would have improved into the sixes, but would have not got ahead of Cookie there. Meanwhile, TJ running the final corner, I don't believe is improving. I think that is your order. Despite Cookie missing out in his final attempt, he still gets pole with Nis and Rio missing the opportunity. Rio, just on those older tyres, didn't improve. Meanwhile, Nis invalidated his final run and cost himself the opportunity at pole. And Cookie will start from pole, gets that bonus pole point, and that will help him in his bid for the championship. Will not seal it this evening, but he could be moments away as we head to Texas next time out. But an interesting qualifying there. Cookie on pole ahead in a 7 Rio. But as we head into the race, anything can still happen, as it has this season. Any predictions, Nikon, for the race? Interesting. We did see a lap 1 safety car in Tier 3 on Friday, as Cookie on pole with a 6.922, just under a tenth ahead of Nasev. Meanwhile, Rio in P3, followed by Echo with one of his best qualifyings of the season. As Liam says we can't hear him. I mean, I don't know why you couldn't hear Daikon, because maybe the desktop audio was not coming through properly. Oh, that was the issue. I'll fix that now. Alright, you should be able to hear him now. Apologies, Daikon. Apparently people couldn't hear you up until this point. But
sorry about that. That might have been because I'm on Xbox, I don't know.
Oh no, it's I had selected the wrong thing in OBS.
Do we have like an interval between quali and race where nobody readies up? Or?
I'll tell the drivers when they're up. Thank you for reminding me. I actually just completely zoned out.
Yeah. Check the quali results again.
So the drivers should be readying up in 3 minutes' time. You have an opportunity for those of you watching and listening in to get yourself a water, a drink, or some snacks for the race. Get your popcorn for turn 1 as Cookie and Nis throughout this whole season have been bumping and barging throughout the season. We could see more bumping and barging into turn 1. Also, Rio Harris will want to get his revenge for what happened in Hungary when him and Cookie came together and resulted in a 20-second time penalty for Cookie, and also Rio DNFing out of the race. So we will see how things play out here in round 10. Cookie can't win the championship here today, but he may be a couple of steps away next round if he has a very strong race here. Realistically, Hemi needs all the advantage he can get here. If Hemi can somehow win Cookie DNF, then Hemi will be right back in the championship fight. Hemi's only 26 points behind, so if that scenario were to play out, then Hemi would be well and truly back in the fight. Although Hemi, I believe, qualified P5, so he's got a bit to do for that to work out for him. Meanwhile, Nesev needs to basically win the last 3 races and hope Cookie DNFs out of all 3 of them if he does want to win the title. So Nesev's championship hopes could be coming to an end today. Even if Cookie just finishes in a respectable position, I believe Nesev would be out of the title fight by next round. Although, unfortunate for Nis, he just missed too many races this season in order to really challenge for the title. I think he really could have been there if he hadn't missed so many races. Meanwhile, Rio is a good 17 points behind Hemi. So again, Rio DNFing out of that race in Hungary, that has cost him a lot in the championship. If he had have finished that race in Hungary, he'd be if and around where Hemi is. So he'd be in a very similar scenario to Hemi. Yeah. Anyway, before we get started here, Daikon, I believe it's a 2-stop here in Brazil, but do you think it could be a 1-stop, or do you think what do you think the strategies are going to be for today?
I'm going to say 2-stopper. But then again, for me, most tracks are 2-stoppers. I rarely ever perform a 1-stop around in this game, like on any track. But I don't know, maybe someone could try a 1-stopper. It just really depends on preference.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see as we hear the clock chiming down, and the drivers will get ready for 36 laps around the circuit here in Interlagos as we get the 5 red lights on. And they're out as we got a very long wait at the lights, and this has got a good start there, but Cookie losing the rear down into turn 1 as they're doing a bit of wheel locking through turn 1. Nis gets through on Cookie as Rio in behind trying to get involved here. Echo in behind has got a good start. Hemi has made his way through. DZ Racer on the curb, almost spinning, dropping behind Ollie and Michael Louis, and he's got Kevin Califer company now as well, as Rio back on the rear of Cookie, trying to find a way through, but not close enough as DZ Racer gets through on Michael Louis, and they both leave the road at turn 4. Michael pushed off the track there, not quite sure what happened there, as Michael and Mallard go side by side. Hemi's gotten through on Echo up the hill. An opportune move from the Ferrari driver, and he's making his way up into P4.
Yeah, this is good for Hemi, getting a good start off the line there. I saw a bit of ghosting through the first few corners, which allowed Nis through for the lead, which will help Hemi in terms of course, Cookie won't score as many points, so he's going to need that, as well as, of course, getting past Rio Harris as soon as possible.
Also, thank you in the chat, Zampa, for sending in 69 bits. Thank you for that. As Ollie looking close to the rear, TJ DZ Racer out of the final corner, lost the position to Michael Louis again, and meanwhile Kevin Cal closing to the rear of Mallard, but not close enough to making a move. Kevin on the rear of Mallard still as we head through, exiting turn 3. Meanwhile TJ closing to the rear of Echo, and can TJ look for a move on the Haas driver, and Echo, I believe, brushing the grass a little bit. That affects his turn in slightly, but everyone has kept it relatively calm in the opening laps. We've not seen any real drama as Ty up the hill gets ahead of Liam, and now Codzilla looking on the inside of Thori, and Cod and Steven, the only drivers to start on the hard tyres here. Will they be trying the 1-stop or just a reverse 2-stop? We'll have to wait and see. But
Echo's made a mistake there. Just went on the grass slightly going into the corner, and he lost so much time to Hemi there. That's over a second away. That's going to be no DRS if he can't catch up in time. I'm looking at the intervals. He is gaining. Let's see if he gets a good enough exit for DRS.
Yeah, is that rear wing?
Oh, he's just managed it. He barely got that DRS there.
Oh, he doesn't have it. The rear wing isn't open as Cookie sets the fastest lap and into turn 1. Side by side goes the Alpine and the Red Bull, and side by side through turn 2 and 3 as they're bumping and barging through the centre S's as Cookie now back on the rear of Nesev down into turn 4. And can Nis stay ahead, or will Cookie pull on the outside as side by side they go? Nis pushes Cookie off the road, and side by side Rio's going to try and get involved here on Cookie.
Oh, he has to back out. That was so close to a big collision there between those two once again. And I think in the background, Himi is going to love this, of course, sitting pretty in P4. He's got the most ERS out of anyone at the moment. So, of course, doing a bit more harvesting, he'll be mighty on the main straight coming up.
Yeah, an opportunity for Himi to get ahead of Rio Harris as Rio's harvesting before the main straight. And could he did see that opportunity to get ahead of Cookie, and has that potentially hurt his chances here, because he may have burned too much battery, and now Hemi could close. Meanwhile, Michael Louis getting ahead of his teammate Ollie. Has Ollie made some sort of mistake to allow Michael through? Meanwhile, Cookie back on Nis and into turn 1. Cookie gets ahead as Nis tries to shake for a move round the outside, but Cookie keeps it ahead through turn 2 and 3, and Nis all over the rear Cookie and almost causing Cookie to spin, and the Red Bull driver did very well to hold on to it as Nis bumping and barging on the Red Bull driver. Nis now into turn 4 again, they go side by side, Cookie on the inside, Nis on the outside, and Cookie pushes him off the track there as it seems both drivers pushing each other off at turn 4. And now up at Ferragura, side by side they go, and they have been absolutely ferocious battling here. Cookie is absolutely sent on by Nis through the middle sector here. Rio's watching this chaotic battle up ahead of him as they are bumping and barging constantly. Cookie defends the inside, Nis still poked a nose in. Cookie almost spun as they're ghosting now. Side by side they go as they're both ghosted now. Rio definitely wants to get involved here. They're still ghosted as Rio gonna try and maximize his exit here, but look at the absolute carnage here. On lap 4, Nis around the outside. Does Nis have DRS? He does. Rio now on the rear of Cookie. Gonna look down the inside. He may look down the inside of Nis as well. As Rio down into turn 1 gets through into P1 as Cookie dives it on Nis. Through turn 2. Hemi dives on the outside of Cookie. As Akko trying to get through on Hemi as well. A little bit of contact between Hemi and Cookie, and that pushed Hemi wide as Hemi onto the grass as he goes side by side with Echo. Still side by side, Michael Louis getting through on TJ. The moves have been absolutely quick and fast. Mallard through on DZ Racer. Hemi back through again on Echo, and what a chaotic lap that was as off the track goes Thori. And heartbreak for Thori. He's down and out, it seems, with Liam getting ahead of him, but both those drivers very far off the pack at this stage. But that was a chaotic lap 5 there. And Cookie now going to try and get back ahead of Nis.
That. Honestly, that was an insane lap. Yeah. Nis is going to be deploying, it seems, on the main straight, so Rio is going to be on the defensive now, heading down the main straight, of course, with a huge DRS train following him.
Yeah, Cookie, who is the championship leader, has had to be in the wars early on here, involved in a lot of contact. And I'm sure, will the stewards have a look at it, or will the drivers out there just think rubbing is racing and battle through as Ollie getting through on TJ. And TJ round the outside leaves the track at turn 3 as Ollie and TJ come together. Ollie going to try and get through into turn 4. It's a little bit of bumping and barging again. TJ off the track at turn 4. And very far down the order as Mallard picks up the first penalty of the day. But TJ contact with Ollie, and there's been so much wheel banging throughout this whole race. Tier 1 has been very feisty here today. No love lost for many of the drivers.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we've got an off. That's Liam in the wall.
Liam and Thori have been having an absolute nightmare. Liam with damage down in P15, and they look like they both need a safety car to get back into this race. Meanwhile, the top 7 still inside DRS range. TJ trying to get back inside DRS range of Ollie after having contact on the previous lap. Meanwhile, Cookie charging on the rear of Nis as Nis going to try and defend from the Red Bull driver. And Nis picks the inside. Cookie bumps the rear of the Alpine, but the Alpine goes a little bit deep. Side by side, they go through turn 2. Can Cookie work his way through? And Nis is around. Nis is spun around, and Cookie coming together, and down the order goes Nis, spun after contact with Cookie. Hemi and Echo get through, and Cookie down to P4, but Nis now down to P14. I'm sure it's going to be furious with the contact with the Red Bull. The stewards are going to be certainly busy after this race. There might be 100 reports already here within 7 laps, as Cookie now going to try and get through, and Echo and Hemi dives. But absolute drama here already, and we've not even got to the first pit stop. There's been so much bumping and barging there, and Cookie and Nasev come together through turn 2 and 3.
Yeah, I can't believe that, honestly. I was going to say, Brazil always brings out great racing, and we are seeing that, but of course that incident there with Nis and Cookie, of course that will be investigated by stewards, I will say, as we see Cookie is going around the outside of Echo to move back onto the podium, and his next targets will be Hemi and Rio Harris, as they have been quietly trying to sneak away from the DRS train, but Cookie is now reeling them back in.
Ollie picks up his first 3-second time penalty today. Meanwhile, we've got a lot of battling in turn 1. What is happening here? There's 5 cars abreast. They were absolutely everywhere. This trio led by Kevin Kell. Ty Clear going to try and get ahead of the Alpine. Stephen Beecham close in behind. Godzilla gets ahead of DZ Racer as we head down into turn 4. Ty on the outside. Stephen clips the rear of the Aston Martin, and around goes DZ Racer. I think there was a bit of a Constantino effect, and DZ Racer unfortunately spins as a result, as Ty gets through, and Stephen bumped the rear of the car ahead. Did Godzilla pick up any damage running into the rear of the Ferrari, who was spinning there? I don't think Cod has picked up any damage, but DZ Racer definitely has lost out the most there. Meanwhile, Cookie now in the rear of Hemi Dimes, who's lost DRS to Rio, and could Cookie get ahead now with DRS? Has Hemi got back inside DRS range? I think Rio must have made a mistake out of the final corner, because Hemi back inside DRS range now, as Cookie now down into turn 1, going to look to send it on the Ferrari, and has he caught Hemi Dimes napping into turn 1, as bit of contact between the Ferrari and the Red Bull, and Cookie gets through. More bumping and barging. It seems no one wants to give an inch here, and there's been such ferocity here in round 10.
Say Echo is right on the back of Hemi, and I thought he was going to go for a move for a second, but no, he waits on the back, because Michael is also right on the back of Echo and nearly going alongside as they climb up the hill, but not quite.
Yeah, almost a move there for Michael Louis. The McLarens have improved well here in this race. Meanwhile, Hemi Dimes dropping at a DRS range from Cookie, as Cookie looks to make the move on Rio Harris. But I'm sure Rio is thinking about what happened in Hungary in the opening part of the race, and will want to defend like a madman here, because I'm sure he's not happy with what happened between him and Cookie. But Cookie now out of the final corner with DRS, now going to look to make the move on the Mercedes, and how ferociously will the Mercedes defend from the Red Bull driver here. And Cookie now down into turn 1. Will Rio move to the inside? He does, but it's too late, as Cookie dives on the inside and outbreaks the Mercedes driver. And Rio now gonna have to try and get back ahead through turn 4, as Cookie looks to defend on the inside into turn 4. Is Rio now going to pick the outside? Can Rio get round the outside of the Red Bull driver? Side by side they go, and Cookie keeps it ahead. Meanwhile, Michael Louis getting through on Echo, and Michael now up into P4 as Rio up the hill trying to get onto the rear of the Red Bull, but not close enough to making a move through Ferragura. But Michael Louis does get ahead of Echo, and Michael having one of his best races of the season. He's having a look now for the podium. Michael yet to get a podium this season, now on the rear of the Ferrari of Hemi Dimes. And could Michael find his way onto the podium? This would be one of his best results here in all of WHF, as he's now inside DRS range, but made a little mistake there, trying to get on throttle. But if he can latch on to DRS range from the Ferrari, that will certainly help him here. Meanwhile, Rio desperately trying to hold on to DRS range from the Red Bull of Cookie. And
I think he has just managed to do it, but he is at risk of losing DRS, so
yeah.
Similar fate to him, it looks like.
I think if I were Rio here, I would think potentially about if he is going to two-stop, that now is the time to pit. Try and maybe undercut Cookie, although Cookie, it doesn't really matter if you undercut him or overcut him. It always seems like in the end he has such supreme pace that no matter what strategy you go with, he will win in the end. But can Rio potentially come back here towards Cookie and try and win this race? We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Michael having his strongest outing here in Brazil and could be looking for a podium here as he's staying with the Ferrari of Hemi Dimes. Hemi did mention it's one of his worst tracks, as we have seen him fall 2 seconds now back from Rio. Now is Rio firmly outside DRS range. For the drivers who are one-stopping, who start in the mediums, it's lap 16 before they box. Meanwhile, if you are two-stopping, it's maybe this lap or the next one. So if anyone comes in on lap 12, I think they could two-stop, although I think lap 12 is probably the earliest you could pull a one-stop. I have seen some drivers do 24 laps on the hards here in Brazil, but it's not advisable. And Rio now firmly outside of DRS range from Cookie, as Michael Louis inside DRS range from the Ferrari, and I'm sure having a whale of a time as Liam retires in the pit lane, and you can't blame him. Just an unfortunate race for the Haas driver here. But it is your reminder that all drivers currently racing will get points here. Points go into P16 here in WHF, and Thorny will be scoring points despite being 30 seconds back from Nis. But a bit of a heartbreak for Nis, who was battling for the lead in that battle with Cookie, and that contact, we'll have to see what the stewards say after the race. Is that or was that Cookie's fault? Was that Nis's fault? Was he being too desperate and just closed the door and Cookie had nowhere to go? We'll have to wait and see what the stewards say. We'll need to get another angle of what happened there. Meanwhile, Echo on the rear of Michael Louis, and Echo has a big swapper on. That may open the door to Ollie, as Echo makes a big error to the final corner. And could both McLarens now get inside the top 5 as Ollie gonna try and dump the battery on Echo. Echo gonna dump the battery to defend as well. Ollie can see the rear light flashing on the rear of that Haas. Is Ollie gonna go for the sand down into turn 1? He's gonna look on the inside. Echo leaving him the space, but through turn 2, oh, big contact, and both almost in the wall, and Echo spins following the contact from Ollie, and Echo dropping down to P6 now. He may be able to recover here. Mallard trying to catch the rear of Echo.
Yeah, we've also got Godzilla and Kevin battling. Meanwhile, in the background, I was going to mention this. Nis is maybe going for an undercut here because, of course, after the contact, he decided to box for hard tyres. So we could see later in the race, Nis could come back, as he has just passed TJ on track, who is also boxed, I believe.
Yeah, both of them boxed early, potentially doing the two-stop. I think they'd have to two-stop from here, surely. Although Nis, we'll keep an eye on how he gets on. But Stephen Beecham now, one of the drivers to start on the hard tyres, along with Godzilla. Stephen now on the rear of Mallard. And can he get ahead with DRS here? The mediums starting to hit the cliff here. And could Stephen get ahead of Mallard? Stephen has had a rough start to the season, but has been improving throughout as Mallard comes in now, and he will possibly be going to the end. I think lap 14, it is doable to do 22 laps on the hards, so we'll see how Mallard gets on his stint. But you kind of want to extend the mediums as long as possible, so you don't really have to worry about the hards. As Ty now on the rear of Stephen.
Yeah, the gaps are starting to form, so the major collisions are starting to come to a close as everyone starts to settle in around halfway through this race now. Pretty soon we'll see the leaders start to box maybe for the one-stop strategies. I personally thought people were going to go for two-stoppers, or more people, I mean. But seems like everyone here prefers the one-stopper, which I guess is fair enough. My tyre wear could never do that, but I guess others here are much better with their tyre management, of course, as Cookie does extend another lap. You said around lap 16 should be the box uppers.
Yeah, and as I went on board with Nis, he was trying to get through on his teammate Kevin. I think Kevin was letting him through, but Nis had a boot of the throttle and almost lost it through the middle sector. A very loose rear there as Michael comes in off the hard tyres. Meanwhile, Akko trying to defend from Stephen Beecham now, and Stephen up into P5. Stephen's having a great race out there in Brazil. We almost seen him win in Tier 2 last season, but unfortunately ended up getting a drive-through, which would cost him the win to his teammate last season, which was Ty Clear. And now these two are firmly rivals again, as Stephen looking to defend into turn 4. Akko back on the inside, and big contact between Akko and Stephen, and Akko's around, and oh my lord, Ty had to really get out of the throttle there to avoid the Haas. It didn't look like the Haas was ghosting there at all, and Ty had to really take avoidant action to avoid the Haas there. Meanwhile, Akko dropping behind TJ now, and that spin with the Haas is going to cost him a lot of time. Meanwhile, Stephen up into P5, which would be his best finish of the season, but Stephen, I think, is probably going to look to extend to lap 20 before he boxes for mediums. So we'll wait and see what he does. If he boxes in the next couple laps. Yeah, Cookie in. Cookie!
He's got a drive for it! He's got a speeding penalty!
Speeding in the pit lane, 10-second penalty, and it's not the first time this season we've seen it from Cookie. A 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty, and it has cost him the win in the past. Could it cost him here again, as Rio has stayed out another lap, as the yellow flag is out, I believe, for Thori there. No, actually, it was DZ Racer, but a lot of pit stops here. And where will Cookie emerge? That 10-second.
Nis undercut him.
Yeah, Nis side by side with Cookie, and Nis is going to start another war. Cookie has got out ahead of Nis. Nis does not have the battery to get close enough to the Red Bull, and Cookie now surely going to try and get through ahead of Stephen Beecham as soon as possible in order to keep Nasev away from him, because I know if Nasev gets a sniff here, he's going to go for a send. So Cookie's going to catch Stephen napping and go for the move as soon as possible. Otherwise, Nis is definitely going to try and send it on Cookie at any opportunity. And Cookie now definitely going to go for the move on the inside here. And can he get through on Stephen? Nis looking on the outside of Stephen as well. Oh, and Stephen makes a mistake there on these older hards. Nis gets through now. As Rio comes in, will Nis burn the battery? Certainly is going to. And with DRS, can Nis, despite being on the older hards, can he get anywhere close to Cookie to send it at turn 1? It seems like Cookie's just got too much straight line speed for Nasev to even think about going for the move. Meanwhile, Cookie has undercut Rio Haas, but by how much is the question? It seems to be by a lot. I know Rio is on the lap, fresher hard tires, but what is the gap now? It's almost at 7 seconds. That is a monster undercut, dear lord. 7 seconds is the gap now. He's gained a whole lot of time in one lap there. He did have a bit of a gap prior to the pit stops, but I think Rio's lost even more time. He's now stuck behind Godzilla, who's one of the drivers who started on the hard tires. He's going to try and make his way through on the hard runner as soon as possible. Although I wonder if Rio...
Godzilla still yet to stop, so is Stephen. So we could see those two coming in around that 20-ish, I believe.
And Rio around the outside now of Godzilla, and Rio a little bit of grass used to get through. And Hemi Dimes, who boxed a lap earlier than Rio. Again, we're seeing this here as Cookie sets the fastest lap. He's dropped Nis out of DRS range. Hemi Dimes now battling with Cod as Cod tries to defend from the Ferrari, but the Ferrari surely going to send it into turn 1, braking later than the Aston Martin driver, and Hemi getting through on Cod. Meanwhile, Michael Louis trying to get through on Cod as well. Hemi trying to get onto the rear of Rio Harris as Michael on the inside of Cod. These two used to be Tier 2 championship rivals, Cod and Michael. And Michael now through into P7 as TJ now on the rear of Stephen, and Stephen, who is possibly doing the one stop. Meanwhile, TJ doing the 2 stop. If TJ can get ahead as soon as possible and try and build that gap, it will help him before he maybe goes on to his medium or his second hard stint. I doubt Nasev or TJ will try to 1 stop from here, as Rio now already on the rear of his teammate. And will TJ try and let him through, or is he more worried about getting ahead of Stephen Beecham as soon as possible? We'll have to see. Do team orders come into effect here, as TJ now trying to dump the battery to catch Stephen Beecham. Rio, I'm sure, wants to get ahead of Stephen as well, as Nis now comes in, gets a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty himself, and Nasev just retires in the pit lane, very frustrated with that penalty, it seems. And Nis calling it a day as Rio now battling with his teammate TJ out of turn 3, and Rio with a lovely move round the outside of his teammate as TJ doesn't want to battle too much. Stephen pulls over to let through Hemi, and Hemi now going to have to try and get through TJ as quick as he can, as TJ going to try and look to hold up Hemi as best he can to allow Rio to check off down the road. Hemi with the undercut has gained a lot of time here, but it could lose it all if TJ holds him up for long enough, and it seems like the team play is really coming into effect here. Mercedes versus Ferrari, these two are very close in the championship, as Hemi still on the rear of TJ, and TJ now parking it on the inside of every corner so that Hemi cannot send it down the inside. But surely with DRS, Hemi will get ahead, but does he have the pace to catch Rio on the lap older tyres? We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Stephen now losing out to Michael Lui, but Stephen still looking to extend his tyres a little bit longer. Meanwhile, TJ finally gives up the ghost, and Hemi now into P3, but is now 1.7 away from Rio, so Rio looking at P2 here. Meanwhile, Stephen on the rear of Michael Lui.
Let me get to that. Yeah, I was going to say Stephen still yet to box on lap 20 now, so this could be his box lap, maybe extend a little longer. I don't know how long those hards can go at this point, but pretty soon he's going to have to swap onto the medium tyre. And still, I was going to say as well, no safety car yet. I was expecting a safety car by now, but we've not had anything. Like, we've had a few yellows pop up, but no VSE, like no safety car, nothing like that.
I will say, normally in Tier 1 we don't have safety cars. Just the first race you commentated was the most chaotic race of the season. We're in Hungary. We had 4 safety cars, which I think is more than we've had in any other tier combined this season. I feel like Tier 2 has had 2 safety cars, and Tier 3, I can't remember how many safety cars it has, but I don't even know if we have a collective 4 safety cars this season, as TJ gets a silly penalty as he cuts the inside before the pit entry, basically. It's a silly penalty to pick up. Meanwhile, Codzilla into the box looking to undercut Stephen Beecham, as Stephen has extended a bit longer. Now, if I were him, for me, honestly, if I were one stopping, I would want to go in lap 22. You want the mediums to be as strong as possible, and if you can extend the hards a little bit longer, you only have to go 14 laps on the mediums, and that will get the best life out of the mediums, and Stephen should look to cut his way through the field. I'm really interested to see how Cod and Stephen will get on in this reverse strategy. Meanwhile, we've got Michael on the rear of TJ, and TJ yet to do his final pit stop. I think it should be coming relatively soon. I think he might be going on to the mediums, so I think TJ might come in lap 22, 23, 24 if he is going mediums.
Yeah, I was going to say the gap between Cookie and Rio Harris is around 9.6, 9.7 now, as it continues to slowly increase. So if Cookie can get above 10 seconds ahead of Rio, then he will be secured in the win. As long as there's no safety car or anything like that to reset the field, Cookie should have the win in the bag, but he's not yet done that, so we'll have to keep an eye on that gap.
Yeah, TJ and Stephen in for another stint. I thought TJ was only going to have another set of mediums to go, that's why I thought he's going to extend a bit longer, but TJ does have another set of hards to use, so his hards will be comfortably going to the end and will be very strong. Also Stephen on the mediums as well, he's going to have a strong stint here, but TJ will keep an eye on him. He may be cutting his way through the field, but I'm sure he'll be annoyed by the 3-second time penalty he picked up. That would it was a very unnecessary penalty to pick up, considering where he was on the track. Meanwhile, Codzilla has exited inside DRS range from Stephen, but on the lap older mediums, can he hold on to Stephen here through the middle sector? We'll keep an eye on this battle, as Stephen now on the medium is going to look to cut his way through the pack. Does he have the pace on these medium tyres? We will see. Meanwhile, Hemi has fallen further and further back from Rio. Michael's fallen further and further back from Hemi. Ollie, there's a gap between Ollie and Michael. Mallard's a good distance behind Ollie as well. Meanwhile, Ty inside that 3-second threshold of Mallard, and also is almost inside DRS range, so Ty could be looking for P6 here As Scones asks, how many pens does everyone have? Cookie has a 10-second penalty from speeding in the pit lane, but has almost broke that 10-second gap to Rio. And we know the pace that Cookie has. Maybe as time progresses, we will see that gap build. Meanwhile, everyone else with 3 seconds of penalties as Echo down into turn 4 gets through on Kevin Cal. I don't think Cookie's pen is appealable as it was the speeding in the pit lane penalty, although last week in round 2 in Imola we did see a speeding in the pit lane penalty get removed with Lanky in tier 2, who it got a glitch where the AI just sped up in the pit lane, which was very strange. So if Cookie's AI randomly sped up in the pit lane, then maybe it'll get removed. But in Brazil, I just think it is a pit lane that does catch a lot of people out, and it caught Nis out, and it caught Cookie out here. And
I think Nis's speeding was more just he wanted to retire, to be honest. I don't think he was trying to obey the obey the speeding limit there. But yeah, Cookie. I think Cookie just got caught out by the pit limiter there. As Kevin looks to make a comeback on Echo, not quite going for a move, but he was looking at it. As we see, they continue to stay pretty close with each other, and TJ is arriving on the scene as well, so we could have a three-way battle pretty soon between these drivers.
Yeah, the Mercedes wants to get involved here, and Ty also on the rear of Mallard wants to get P6, currently has a net P6, but Ty, I'm sure, wants to also get that and track us up the hill. At Ferragiro we go. TJ trying to put some pressure on Kevin Kell here, but the Alpine driver keeping it ahead of the Mercedes. Scones asks, why did Nasev retire? I mean, he was having a bit of a torrid time. He had contact with Cookie that spun him around and dropped him all the way down the order, and tried the 2-stop, but as he came into the pit lane for his second stint, he did speed in the pit lane. As Daikon says, it could have been intentional, like he was going to retire anyway, but I'm not quite sure. Part of me thinks it was out of frustration. I do think he did want to complete the 2-stop. Meanwhile, Ty Clear now in the rear of Mallard and down into turn 1. The Aston going to try and break on the inside of Mallard and get straight through into P6 as Mallard, I believe, just giving up this position, but wants the exit out of turn 3 and charge into turn 4. Can Mallard get back ahead of the Aston Martin driver? Through on the inside goes Mallard and gets back ahead of Ty as these drivers swap here on lap 25. Although they don't want to battle too hard because they could fall into the reaches of Echo, TJ and Kevin Kell as well. And TJ actually got ahead of Kevin Kell. I missed what happened there.
Yeah, I also missed that. Yeah, I guess he must have snuck up the inside at one point using DRS. I'm not too sure, but these three are very close to each other on track, so they probably will continue to battle. Meanwhile, Cookie has broke nearly 12 seconds ahead of Rio now, so that gap, as we predicted, is kind of just increased, and Rio's not been able to keep up with him, unfortunately. So unless there's a safety car, it looks like Cookie will be the winner, or unless he makes some kind of mistake, but then that's not really like Cookie. So we could just see the Red Bull pull away in the distance now with 10 laps to go. Meanwhile,
TJ on the outside of Echo almost leaves the track there as he pulled out of the DRS. Meanwhile, Ty Clear getting ahead of Mallard as well, down through turn 1. Although Mallard, can he get back ahead into turn 4? Is it going to be the same move that we've seen on last lap? As down into turn 4, Mallard looks on the inside of the Aston Martin driver, but Ty keeping it ahead of the Red Bull. And can Ty potentially now escape down the road now that he's on these better tyres? Or can Mallard ship for a move? We'll see. Meanwhile, TJ on the much better tyres to Echo and Kevin Kell. So can TJ start to catch the likes of Mallard and Ty Clear doing this 2-stop? Seems TJ the only driver out there on the 2-stop at the moment. Can he make it work?
That is an advantage for him. He has much fresher tyres. Steven also on the 2-stopper, I believe. No, he's on a 1-stopper, sorry. But he's P11 at the moment, and he is slowly gaining, I think, on Kevin and Echo and that group of drivers. So we could see Steven towards the end of the race kind of arrive and make a few positions up.
Yeah, gap starting to form now in the midfield. TJ pulling DRS to Echo, Echo pulling DRS to Kevin, as Mallard on the rear of Ty, but TJ is going to be joining this battle very shortly, and TJ does have a 3-second time penalty, but he may be inside DRS from Mallard and Ty and try and make this move as soon as possible. Could TJ dispatch of them and catch Ollie by the end of the race? I think that's possibly the best he could do is P5, but he'd have to be very quick in order to make that happen. I think, in all honesty, the best he can hope for at the moment is P6, but we'll stay along with the Mercedes driver, who has had a very strong second half of the season after having a very tumultuous time at the opening races of the season. But now inside DRS range from Mallard, can TJ start to put pressure on Ty and Mallard? And I wonder, will Ty and Mallard work together to try and keep the driver who's on the quicker tyres behind? We will have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. As we enter the DRS once again down the main straight, TJ has caught up within DRS of Mallard and Tyclair now, so I would say pretty soon we're going to see them actually start to fight each other. As into turn 1, TJ looks like he's closing that gap every corner. He just inches closer as he's getting even closer towards turn 4. Could see Mallard go for a move up the inside here.
Side by side go the Red Bull and the Aston Martin through turn 4. Keeping it clean is both drivers, as Echo picks up another time penalty, and that's maybe cost him a position to Kevin. As up Ferragura we go, Ty makes a little bit of a mistake that allows the Red Bull through, and TJ still looking for an opportunity to make a move here on the Aston Martin, but the door doesn't seem to be opening, and as time progresses this is going to hurt TJ's tyres, as he's got to try and get through as soon as possible, that he has such a delta. But Mallard and Ty continue to battle, and this is helping TJ. Ty goes a little deep out of the final corner. TJ's got a much better run as he picks the outside now. And can TJ get round the outside? And even before the DRS is open, TJ gets through on Ty and down into turn 1. Can TJ even get ahead of Mallard as he moves late? Ty on the inside also looking for this move, and TJ gets through and opens the door for Ty as well. Ty through on Mallard as well. TJ up into P6, Ty up into P7, Mallard down to P8, as Echo now joining this battle. Back inside DRS range here, but a lot of ferocious battling here. And TJ now up into P6, and can he hit after Ollie now and catch him by the end? It'll be a bit of a stretch if he can pull that off.
Got another yellow in the third sector.
Ty.
That is Corey having a moment. Oh, sorry, I missed that. What's happened there? Has he gone wide?
Ty in the middle sector must have made another mistake at Ferragura. He's lost out to Mallard and Echo, moving 2 positions down, and Tier 2 champions, both Kevin Kell and Ty Clear now will look to battle over P9, and this is going to be an exciting battle to see the Season 4 and Season 5 Tier 2 champions battle it out. Who is the better one? We'll have to wait and see. Currently what the championship says is that Ty is better, but Kevin did miss a number of races, so maybe Kevin can answer back. Meanwhile, Echo through on Mallard even before turn 1. Echo gets through and ahead of the Red Bull drivers. They both look to try and catch TJ, but TJ on the much better tyres may look to disappear down the road now, as Kevin still on the rear of the Aston Martin. So we're still yet to see how this is going to end up. It looks like the top 4 is basically decided, and as I say that, I see Michael Louis make a mistake as we go on board with him, but I don't want to jinx any of the drivers, but almost did. Meanwhile, Cookie has the gap at 14.5 seconds. Another dominant race for Cookie, but will he get penalties in the steward's box? We'll have to wait and see. A lot of comings together in the opening stint between him, Nasev, Rio, as Codzilla gets a 10-second corner cutting penalty as he...
he's in the wall.
He's in the wall. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Cod there.
He's had a bit of a moment. He's recovered it. He's not retired from the damage, but that's unfortunate to have in the last few laps.
Yeah, I think Cod must have made a mistake up Ferragura, and I just spun him across the track and into the wall. And unlucky for Cod here. Meanwhile, Kevin back on the rear of Ty, as Mallard now has lost the arrest from Echo, and Mallard now probably more thinking about, can he finish ahead of Ty and Kevin with his time penalty. Meanwhile, Stephen almost joining this battle as well, who was the Tier 2 runner-up last season. So it seems to be, it's going to be an absolute barn burner over P9 here in the last 5 laps. But Cod comes in now to fix his front wing and retires from the session, which will give Thori a free position.
Just something to note, Fori is underfueled. I'm seeing the others. Nobody else is underfueled. So just Fori on an underfueled strategy. So let's see if he harvests enough for the end.
Well, if Thori's listening to the stream, he will not have to worry because he is lapped by the leader. So even if he's a lap under, he'll still finish because he will finish a lap down anyway. So I don't think he really needs to worry about his fuel at this stage. Meanwhile, Kevin still trying to get through on Ty Clear. And is Ty catching Mallard? I think he is. Mallard, though 2 lap older Hards, has hurt him in the end, as Mallard may lose 3 positions because of that time penalty here, as Ty continues to try and catch the Red Bull. And Cookie before the race did say that he wanted to seal the constructor title with him and Mallard, and I'll double check what the championship is saying in the constructor title. I didn't think they were that close, but we'll have a quick look. What the points are saying. Yeah, they're not close to sealing the title just yet. The gap is 38 points to Ferrari, so I don't think they'll seal it this evening. They'll have to wait until next round, or maybe even in the finale. But I think the Ferraris are still very much there, despite Red Bull outscoring them in this race.
Yeah, well, we say that Stephen is right on the back of Kevin and Tyclair, who are pretty close to Mallard. So if Stephen can get past Kevin and Tyclair, he could be up to P8 maybe, depending on if he can get within those 3 seconds of Mallard, of course. And if he does manage to do that, then that will help the Ferrari drivers catch up to Red Bull in the Constructors. We've only got a handful of laps left though, so that would be a reach to be able to do that. But it's not impossible because Stephen is on medium tyres and they should be a bit faster than these hard runners. As we enter turn 1 once again.
I will say, lap 11 on the mediums, I think he's right about at the cliff now. Stephen Kennedy needs to make things happen this lap if he wants to get the move. Meanwhile, Kevin on the rear of Ty. Will he go for the move into turn 4? No, he backs out. As Stephen watching this battle in behind. Can Stephen get close to the rear of the Alpine? Just doesn't seem to be close enough, but Stephen has to make a move happen before his mediums fall off. Also, Ty Clear almost inside DRS range from Mallard. And I think Kevin missed his opportunity into turn 4. He should have sent it on the Aston Martin driver, because if Ty gets DRS from Mallard, Kevin possibly could not have another opportunity for the rest of the race. So I think Kevin's really missed an opportunity there, going for the move into turn 4. But we're here on lap 34. Cookie has lapped Thori. He's not too far behind DZ Racer, but DZ Racer still not lapped here, as Kevin Kell now on the rear of Ty, as Ty's got DRS from Mallard now, and Mallard could be dropping down to P11 with his time penalty. Just a shame now, as Ty now on the inside of turn 1. Can Ty look through on Mallard, as these two were battling earlier on the race as we head through turn 2 and 3, and Ty hops over the curb and a little bit of contact with Mallard, and now Kevin looking to get through, but Kevin seems to be boxed in as he touches the grass. Can Stephen look for a move through as well? Mallard keeps ahead. Ty goes deep out of turn 4. Stephen looking on the outside of Kevin Kell, can't find a way through. Kevin all over the rear of Ty, but can he get a move? Not able to. These drivers are absolutely nose to tail up the hill, but Mallard stays ahead here, and on the penultimate lap, can he continue to hold on here? We will wait and see.
Yeah, I think Kevin was quite nervous or skittish really to make a move on Tyclair. He could have gone for it, but he just chose to stay right behind. And Stephen did the same thing. He could have gone for a move up the inside, but he just chose to stay back as they go side by side through the last corner. Mallard and Tyclair getting very close, but no move made yet for Tyclair, as the DRS will open in a moment's time. So the Aston Martin is about to pass the Red Bull, and this DRS train continues.
Yeah, Ty on the outside. Where's Kevin going to go? He's going to follow him through. And the Alpine, as they come together with the Red Bull, Kevin Kell and Mallard side by side. Stephen going to get through on Kevin Kell, but I'm sure Kevin not happy with the contact with Mallard. It seemed Mallard was moving there in the braking zone. as Mallard comes together with Kevin Kell. Although we'll have to wait and see what happened in the steward's box, but that seemed very strange from Mallard there. As Stephen now on the rear of Mallard, as Mallard struggling on these 21 lap old hard tyres. Can he stay with Ty Clear here? Although Mallard still may drop behind Stephen and Kevin Kell as Thorey into the pit lane, and I think Thorey may have left it too late because he's still not going to be able to set the fastest lap if he does want the fastest lap, because he is lapped. Meanwhile, Mallard now has lost ERS from Ty. Can Stephen get ahead of Mallard as they're about to start the final lap? Can Stephen get ahead of the Red Bull? Yeah, Cookie about to enter the final sector. Cookie with one of his most dominant victories of the season. Meanwhile, Stephen shipping for moving to turn 1. Tries to brake on the inside of Mallard, but unable to get ahead. Meanwhile, Kevin wants to get involved in this battle. Can Stephen get the exit? But we're going to move up to the front as Stephen isn't close enough to making a move. But Cookie here will win in Brazil here in round 10 in absolute dominant fashion. What a win it was for Cookie. Finishes 16 seconds up the road, gets a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty, but it will not affect his result as Rio will finish in P2 and Hemi in P3. This seems like the Hambot Ver podium that we've seen all the season. It's Cookie, Rio, Hemi. We've seen that podium so much this season. We see it again here in Brazil. Meanwhile, Michael Louis finishes P4, which is his best result of the season, followed by Ollie, and TJ almost caught Ollie, but wasn't close enough, was just outside a second. Meanwhile, Echo in P7. Next, it's Ty Clear. He'll finish P8. Mallard will finish P9, but with the time penalty will drop behind Stephen and Kevin Kell. And DC Racer in P12 will score some points here as Thorey as well in P13. Also will score some points as well. But another dominant victory for Cookie here in round 10, followed by Rio finishing P12 and Hemi in P3. And Daikon will move over to the Tier 1 interviews to interview some of the drivers, as Cookie will celebrate on the top step of the podium alongside Rio and Hemi Dimes.
Alright.
And as Cookie celebrates on the top step of the podium yet again here in WHF, he is but steps away from sealing the title here in Season 6. Michael Louis gets Driver of the Day, as we'll try and get the results in as quickly as possible along with the race director. Cookie wins, starts from pole, gets the fastest lap, which I believe gains a lot in the championship, although Hemi finishing P3 has helped him a little bit, but Cookie will be very close in the title fight to winning it in Texas, but hasn't done just yet. As I'll try and look at the standings to see what that is done. The championship now is separated by 34 points, I believe.
I'm not sure.
Let's
I'm
see here.
not very good with maths, so...
I've got the standings up here. It is 34 points between Cookie and Hemi, although I've loaded the wrong graphic, which says Cookie's a champion, which unfortunately he's not yet. But Cookie has joined us in the driver interviews. It was another dominant win for yourself, Cookie. We did see in that opening stint absolute chaotic racing. What happened there in the opening stint?
Hello. Nice to hear your sexy voice again. I don't know, to be honest with you. Like I was willing to race him like super passive, right? Like I have a really good race setup. I managed to steal from a friend, so I was like, fuck it. It's super low downforce. I can pass him whenever I want. I'll just fucking sit here behind him and get a good run on him. But I mean, I don't know if you saw. I think he was leaving me room for an ant. I don't know about an F1 car. First few times I tried to pass him, so I made him. The actual spin. I think I gave him a little bump. He gave me a bump a couple laps ago. It wasn't intentional, but then I was on his side, and he did the same thing he did like 3 or 4 times. Again, I don't know if that was all caught on stream, but he gave me no space, so I was out in the curb, and then he spun himself on my car. That was pretty fun. But outside of that, I mean, I had ridiculous pace. I didn't expect that, but it was a good one. I managed to pass Rio, and then I just decided to get myself a 10-second penalty for no reason.
Yeah, you always just got to add a bit more drama to your wins. That's the only reason, really.
Yeah, it was totally intentional. I didn't like yell or anything when I got it. It was purely intentional.
Mm-hmm. But another win for yourself, Cookie. Next time out we head to Texas, which I would like to say is your home Grand Prix, but you're actually from Florida, so Miami's more your home Grand Prix. But I guess it still counts because it's still in the same country. But do you think in your home Grand Prix you could seal the title next time out? Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it depends if Nasev is racing like he was today. Because if he is, then it's kind of RNG. But yeah, I think so. I think Coda's another one of those tracks I really like driving, like Brazil. So I'd hope so. Maybe I'll start from the back though, in Coda. But yeah, I think so. Seems it's a fun one.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it. And Cookie, congrats again on another victory here in WHF. It is your 5th of the season. And next time out in Texas, you could look to seal the title, which we hope to see, which would be your 6th in the league, which I don't think anyone will ever beat. I mean, even if this league goes on for another 20 years, I don't think we'll see it anytime soon.
Yeah, I think this season will be my last full time on this game cycle. So I'll give Rio a shot at the title next season. But yeah, thank you very much, Arrow. I appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
Oh wait! Buy my game on Steam. I don't have how many viewers we have.
Oh, getting banned stuff promo.
I was gonna actually say, is your game out on Steam yet?
I give it 3 weeks. I'm trying to code in grid penalties right now, and it's giving me a headache. But 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, well, after the season finishes, I guess you can focus more on making sure your game gets out on Steam, and I'm looking forward to playing it myself, so it'll be very interesting to see. But anyway, congrats on another win, Cookie, and we will see you next week in Texas, as we'll move on to Rio Harris, who finished in P2. How did that race go for you, Rio?
As expected, just miles off the pace as tradition, but I got a P2 for a change, and I got to race, which is the main thing. And we get on Ferrari in the constructors, proving why Mercedes are better than Ferrari. So.
Well, I actually haven't looked at what the constructors say. Let me have a quick look. Ferrari are still ahead. I don't know how, but
How much?
14 points. I feel like the gap was smaller last round.
They're just being powered by sheer aura at this point.
Oh no! I Ferrari were ahead of. Ferrari
The gap between Mercedes and Ferrari is 20. How do we only gain 6 points?
Because Stephen finished well, Hemi finished well.
Even finished like 11th.
No, he finished like 8th.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Because TJ finished 6th and Stephen finished like 8th or 9th. So it wasn't a massive gain, but still a gain nonetheless. But there's still time to finish P2 in the standings. There's still time also for the championship to be won.
There's still time for the championship. There's reports to be made by people. You can get a race ban. It ain't over.
But we'll wait and see what happens following Stewart's results. Although my initial reaction is I don't believe Cookie did anything wrong from what I've seen. I don't really know who did what wrong. I'm going to have to look at the clips back again because I'm sure there will be many from that opening stint, because around from lap 4 onwards, the chaos ensued, and it just seemed every lap there was absolute chaos. But I don't imagine it's going to go any smoother in Texas next time out, where the championship could be won. I imagine everyone and their nan is going to be sending it on the inside of Cookie to prevent him from winning another title. But Rio, do you think is Texas one of your strong tracks?
No. I mean, compared to Cookie, nowhere strong.
Well, I love to hear a confident man, and Rio is super confident that he will win next time in Texas.
Silverstone killed me, so.
But thank you for that, Rio. You're still 14 points behind Hemi, so I think you can put him on your dartboard, that if you can finish ahead of Hemi, I'm sure you'll take that in the championship.
Print a photo of him and then pin it to my dartboard and keep throwing darts.
What I will say is Nasev can still technically finish ahead of you. He's 50 points back. As huh?
Let's not take the best here. He ain't getting 50 points.
Oh well, if he gets back-to-back victories and then you DNF, there you are. That's how he gets the.
Oh, well, I wouldn't put it past Cookie coming across me again.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the steward's box, but we'll move on to the next driver, who is Echo.
Hammond! You moron!
As sorry, DZ Racers playing some sound alerts, so I just wait for them to play out. As
Hi, I'm stupid. Hi, I'm stupid.
Echo, I believe you finished. Where was the end?
P7 in the end.
P7. The penalty dropped you down. I was so glad to see you not get a 10-second, because I was like, it's so many times this season it's been a speed in the pit lane penalty, and I was like, I know Brazil is probably the worst pit lane on the track, so I was really hoping you went slow, and thankfully you did. So at least you've avoided the pit lane penalty, but you did pick up some track limit penalties that had dropped you down the order slightly.
If I don't get a pit lane penalty, the game will give me a track limit penalty. I can't win.
But nonetheless, you move up to P10 in the championship. You're a point ahead of TJ, who you were battling with, and with 2 rounds to go, do you think you can finish ahead of TJ? You also move ahead of Stephen Beecham, and also Michael Louis is just 3 points ahead. Mallard is 5 points ahead of Michael. There's a very close midfield battle there, battling over P8. How high do you think you can finish this season?
Well, how many rounds have we got left now?
2.
Well, with how consistent I've been with like qualifying, and if I just keep on being consistent, finishing ahead of both of the drivers ahead of me in the championship, I could possibly get it. Finish about P8 in the championship in the end of the season, but we'll have to see, because I do get unlucky in races. I had a little bit of collision at the start of the race that dropped me down into like P12. So we'll just have to see how it goes, to be honest.
Well, thank you, Ekin. Hopefully next time out we can see a race where it's not drama filled, because it seems like every race this season has had some form of drama that has cost you some points. I think Silverstone was your best result with a P4, and hopefully we can see a good result in the last 2 rounds, because you have been up there battling with the podium drivers, but we've just not really seen you get anywhere near a podium other than in Silverstone this season, just because of this or that, really.
Yeah, like I said, we'll just have to see how the last 2 races goes. I mean, I'm not really battling for a championship, so just try and finish the best where I can.
Well, thank you, Echo, and we hope to see you next time out, and hopefully a good result for yourself.
Thank you.
And also, Daikon, do you have any questions to ask either Rio or Echo before we head out here?
Sorry?
Do you have any questions to ask Rio or Echo before we head out?
I was going to ask Rio something, actually. Do you have like any tracks on the game where you actually feel confident? Like, because the last few weekends you've not really felt confident in any of the circuits, so I was just wondering, like, is there a specific track? Oh.
If there was one track on the calendar, Arrow knows what, then yes. The only track I am confident at is Singapore, where I'm top 220 in the world. That's my only track.
So next season,
I
it's
mean,
just going
no.
to be 12 rounds of Singapore, and Rio will be champion.
Oh wait, no. I mean, obviously, it was Texas, Abu Dhabi left. That's the two remaining. I wouldn't say I'm not confident at any of them. It's just more like I know I'm not quick around there. I feel confident in like the car. I know I can compete, but I'm not competing for where I want to be. If that makes sense. So that way, I want to be fighting for first, not for third.
Yeah, that's fair.
But two new drivers have joined the driver interviews. We've got TJ, who finished in P6, and Thorsten finished P13. We'll start with TJ. TJ, how'd your race go? Oh.
Not too bad, not too bad. No, my mic was muted. I think I started 7th. I made a couple positions up on the start. I thought about following from 3, but then I was going to 1-stop, but then I was like, no. And I did a 2-stop, and then I almost got up to 5th, but I had a penalty. So it was pretty mid. Like, I don't enjoy Brazil, but I'll take it.
We did see you commit early to the 2-stop. Was that always your plan to go for the 2-stop?
No, I wanted to 1-stop. Definitely wanted to 1-stop, but then tyre wear was just horrible, so I was like, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm going on to the Huds.
Well, congrats anyway on the P6, and if you are looking at the stream, you can see that there's a very close fight between yourself, Stephen, Echo, Michael, and even Mallard could probably sneak into that battle as well. Although Mallard has a bit of a gap, it's 5 points ahead of Michael, but maybe by the end you still could look to catch him. But you're currently a point behind Echo. Where do you think you'll end up finishing at the end of the season?
Well, I'm aiming to get up to, like, if I can just keep doing strong and the others don't do as strong, maybe P8, but at the moment, probably around 9th is more realistic.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll see a good result next time out in Texas. As we'll
Yeah, hopefully.
As we'll move on to Thorsten. Thorsten, another tumultuous race for yourself down in P13. It seemed like you got early damage from a spin, and that just seemed to be your race.
Yeah, I had not a good setup on my car, so I was not confident in the corners. So yeah, I had a spin and my race was all over. So I had to commit to the 2-stop, and I had too much time to make up to the guys in front of me. So
yeah, that is the issue with Tier 1 is I think Daikon hasn't seen it this much this season, but normally what happens is if you have a mistake, there's normally not a safety car that saves your bacon to allow you to catch up to the pack. But Daikon in his opening race of the season did see 4 safety cars, but I don't think we'll have another race like Hungary again, where unfortunately a safety car can save your race, but unfortunately we just don't see that many in the season. But nonetheless, sorry, you are currently P16 the championship. You're level on points with Womax, who appears to have taken the rest of the season off. You've also got Apple and Seth ahead of you by 9 points. Do you think you can catch them?
I don't think, because next race I'm not in. So I don't drive Texas, and maybe I drive Dubai.
Well,
So
hopefully in Dubai we can see a Thorsten win and he jumps all the way up the order. We'd love to see it.
yeah, I love it too.
But I think that'll be a good place to wrap up the stream. Cookie has won here in Brazil, and he is but moments away of wrapping up the title in Texas next time out. Rio finishes P2 ahead of him as them two still look to battle over P2 in the championship, and also still could win the championship, but a lot needs to go their way. So we'll have to wait and see next time out. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow. We're also going to raid Alfie Hall on our way out here, so make sure to give Alfie a follow on your way out, and also say that WHF sent you. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop a follow, and we'll be back next week as Tier 1 heads to Texas for the penultimate round of the season. Can Cookie steal the title? We'll have to wait and see. I've been WHF, joined by Daikon. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.